Hi everybody, Teddy with Mayco, and today we're going to talk about Astro Gems. If you have not used Astro Gems before, it is a very cool fired product. So you can see that we have used Astro Gems on this adorable bunny. Basically, what Astro Gems are is an underglaze with micro crystals. So you're going to treat it like an underglaze. Now, this particular project is on Mayco's website in the project library. It is called Spring Floral Bunny. And we have the mold, which is the carved rabbit itself, the bunny. And then we also used a sprig mold, the CD778 flowers and leaves press mold. And this gives you this adorable, one-of-a-kind rabbit. So you can find this on Mayco's project library under Spring Floral Rabbit when you search for this image. We used 2 Astro Gems on this. We used the Golden Sand AS513, and we used a little bit of the AS510 White Opal. And we used that on the ears. The flowers and leaves was stroke and coat. So let's talk a little bit about the Astro Gems by themselves. There are 3 colors. I already talked about 2, and the third one is the AS512 Black Diamond, which we did not use on this particular rabbit. It's very easy to use, but here are some tips. I'm just going to use this tile for a little bit of application demonstration, all right? Nothing too exciting. A couple of tips. Because these are microcrystals, we did not glaze the bottom of the rabbit. So if you were going to be sitting this on some furniture in your home versus an outdoor piece, I would not glaze this here because of the little crystals in there. It could potentially scratch when you scoot this across it. So don't paint the bottom of it, or if you do want to glaze the inside and the outer and the bottom of this, use a clear or something that has no crystals on this very bottom. What's nice is you could dry foot it if it's staying inside the house. Okay, so that's one of the tips. We do need to make sure that we mix up and stir up the glaze because of the crystals in there. Like everything else in life, gravity takes its toll. Okay, so easy way of doing this is to get a palette knife or anything like the back of your brush. Get in there and stir it up really good so that you're mixing up all of those little micro crystals into the base glaze. And if you look close, you can see all those little flecks in there. Those are your little crystals that are going to bloom a bit when you fire it. All right. I like to stir it up, put the lid back on. Let's give it a good shake. We've got it mixed up good. Pretend you're making a margarita. And then you're going to pour some out onto a palette. Painting out of the palette is good because when I use my soft fan brush, and in this case I'm using the number 4 reflection brush line, RB144, because I can manage this size really good. Natural hair bristles, so I prime it by putting it in a little water, stripping out the excess water. And then I'm going to really load my brush. Can you see that? I'm going to get that a little close up again. Look at all those beautiful little crystals in there. So when you apply Astro Gems, you want to apply it as evenly as possible because you want a nice even distribution. And that's why, especially on these large areas, you want a soft fan brush. The soft fan brush is meant for large open areas, for backgrounds, for big areas, because those long bristles on the brush really hold a lot of glaze. And it's going to allow me to lay down a good coat, a good flowing coat. Flowing is key. Do you ever see somebody in there painting like on these short little choppy ones? You are taking off as much glaze as you're putting on. We want to lay down a good foundation or a good base. Now look right here. Can you see that there's hardly any crystals right there? When I load my brush, I'm going to start on this side to try to even out that application. Okay, so it does flow. It comes on nicely. Now a couple of tips, especially on this bunny. Notice how on the leg you have these dips and dents in here. You don't want to over apply and have too much glaze in those recessed areas. If you do, because it does behave like an underglaze, what's going to happen is you're going to get cracks in the surface. Think about when there's a mud puddle and it dries and you get all those cracks. That's what happens if you have an over application in the recessed, dipped areas, the deeper areas, all right? So again, try to even this out as much as possible. So let's look at the label. On the label, it says apply 3 coats to green-ware or bisque. So we could have done a one-time firing at a code 04 if I had done this on leather hard bisque. Typically, I bisque fire mine first and then I do my glaze application. You can change directions with each coat for better distribution of crystals. Now, typically with Mayco glazes, we don't say to crosshatch or change directions, but this is a different glaze because it is more of a specialty glaze, like an underglaze with the microcrystals. So for the even distribution of the crystals, it's not a bad idea to go one way and then maybe go another way so that you apply them evenly. Or you can do like I did a little while ago, which I guess essentially is changing directions. I went this way, had very few crystals, so I started on this direction and went the other way, so it evened out my distribution. On here, we added a little bit of white. We had the pink ears, and then we put the white opal, just to give it a little bit more visual interest. 2 beautiful colors, a really fun project that anybody would love to have in the yard. Now, because this does have all the crystals, it's going to have a surface issue. So this is not a dinnerware safe product. You will see it has the AP seal, which means that it's approved product. It is non-toxic in the liquid form. You can drink it, but I guarantee you, you're not going to like it. So, or if you do, there's something wrong. But anyway, it is AP seal, non-toxic. It is not dinnerware safe. That's why on our particular sample, we have it on a decorative piece, all right? Now, you can leave it as is, or you can seal this. You can use Mayco's matte sealer to apply a coat over this and seal it if you do want to put it outside, or if you wanted to make it a little bit more water resistant. Okay, you guys, now you have the gist of how you're going to use Astro Gems. Please post your projects on Mayco's Facebook pages. We have several different groups. We always love to see what you do.